There was once this pastor of a mega church. It was huge. And he was an incredible speaker. He was a fiery preacher. He was so good that he wanted to respond to his own altar calls. And at the end of all of his sermons, he basically said the same thing. What are you doing to serve the poor? What are you doing for the oppressed? What are you doing for the least among us? And he would say, I go down to the local soup kitchen. Every Sunday you will find me in a neighbouring town looking after those who cannot look after themselves. I look after the poor and the oppressed, and so should you. But the truth is, he was actually going and playing golf every Sunday, and he wouldn't tell a soul about it. This was his little time away. Well, this went on for years. And as we all know, God doesn't go to church, so he never heard about it. But eventually an angel got wind of it. And at the next general meeting in heaven, they were going round talking about business, and the angel said, you should know that there's a church down there, and the pastor is lying to his congregation. Well, God thinks to himself, okay, I'm going to pay this guy a visit. I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. So God dresses up in his Sunday best the next day and goes to the church, sits at the back and listens to the guy. And sure enough, the preacher is incredible. God is starting to think, I need Jesus in my life. I have a God-shaped hole. But then at the end, he hears the pastor do the same thing he always does. What are you doing to serve the poor? What are you doing for the least of these? What are you doing in your community? I look after the impoverished. Gets up and leaves to a round of applause. And so God follows him, sees him get into his little car and drive off to the golf course. And when he gets to the golf course and tees up, God intervenes, hits the first ball, and it goes flying into the air, bounces on the green, and goes into the hole. The guy is shocked, looks around. He goes to the second hole and he tees up. This time he slices the ball, but it bounces off a tree, goes up, gets caught in the beak of a bird. The bird flies and then drops it, bam, straight into the hole. Another hole in one. The pastor is stunned. Tees up at the third hole. He hits the ball and it's going straight towards this lake. But instead of sinking, it just skims across it into the hole. This keeps on going. Every hole is a hole in one. Finally, at the very end, as the pastor's sitting, looking at the 18th hole and looking at the ball dropping in, God quietly withdraws. When God goes back to heaven, well, the angels are furious. We thought you were going to teach him a lesson. You give him a golf game that Rory McIlroy would weep over. And God says, yes. But ask yourself this. Who's he going to tell?